Monday night having thrown a pick in each of his last 7 games, and then from there it gets ugly. Prescott has thrown 3 pick sixes, all of them since week 15. That is also tied with Davis Mills for the most in the NFL. He had thrown just 6 pick sixes through his first 6 years in the National Football League. So something is going on here, and it has caught the eye of our very own Dan Orlovsky, who, in a piece that you can read right now in its entirety up on ESPN.com, ranked all the quarterbacks in the playoffs. And as you see, he has Dak 12th, ahead of only Brock Purdy and Skylar Thompson.
Dude, like, come on, son. Stop it. Dan, come on, man.
So there's some reaction here to that. Bart, what is your reaction?
Listen, everybody got at me because I didn't put him in the top 10 in the NFL. You're saying he's not top 10 in the playoffs?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, that's disrespectful. Listen, he's a little bit more accomplished than that. You know, listen, Dan's my man, but I can't roll with you. I ain't with you when you ain't right.
So I read the entire piece. They sent it to me yesterday, and he's pointing out the way they're playing right this minute. And it's not as much. We should do a thing on Mike and Mike called confidence picks. How confident are you in this player in this particular moment? Not how good has he been historically. No one can sit here and say that Daniel Jones or Kirk Cousins or Geno Smith, Trevor Lawrence are better players than Dak Prescott. But at this moment,
this year,
are they playing better? Well, I mean, it is a reasonable. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I'm reading you what he wrote here. Ninko, take it in that context. What do you think of it?
I disagree in a sense of you can't look at all these turnovers and put them all on Dak.
Yeah.
There's a couple we're watching right now. The ball's just batted up in the air, and the defender comes down with it. So you could probably take away 4 to 5 interceptions on the season.
But wouldn't that be true of every quarterback? When I hear that up here,
yes, of course.
People say that, and then I say, well, let's go back and look at every interception, every quarterback through. At the end of the day, these things even themselves out.
Of course, but you also look at the production. So there's a production side of things here that kind of maybe outweighs some of those bad throws. And again, you look at Kirk Cousins, Daniel Jones ahead of him.
Yeah.
That kind of doesn't even make sense just based on statistics. Yeah. Yardage, attempts per pass, just those things in general would probably put Dak a lot higher than where he's at.
If that name on the back of the jersey said Brett Favre, who's probably had parts of his career where he turned the ball over at that, Dan would never put him there.
Perhaps. Give us your thoughts on this.
Look, I mean, there are. I think Nico's point is really good. Like that, like he's talked about good, the bad, and the ugly. There's been a lot of good with Dak this year, and statistically, by a lot of measures, he has had a better year than Trevor Lawrence, than Kirk Cousins, than Daniel Jones. Actually, probably not Geno Smith. Honestly, he's way up there.
Yeah.
But I get the point Dan is trying to make, which is that Dak is playing poorly going into the playoffs, coming off a horrendous game and throwing way too many interceptions. All that is true. This is a little too much.
So fair enough. So none of us agree with putting him as low as he is. But it does illustrate a point that all of us recognize.
Also,
which
Lamar's not going to play.
Well, yeah, he wrote that. He wrote in the event that Lamar
played in 6 weeks.
When he wrote that, we didn't know if he would play or not. Lamar Jackson probably won't play, which means there'd be someone else below Dak in this. But let's just use it to illustrate the point that we all clearly can see. And that is that this is not the Dak Prescott that we have watched play throughout his entire career. Yeah. The mistakes he is making are uncharacteristic. We have sat here and lauded the pre-snap reads and all the good decisions that he has made. And what we're watching are, in many cases, not bad throws, but bad decisions. How do you explain that, Bart Scott?
Well, he's pressing, right? Sometimes when players get paid a bunch of money, they try and validate the contract and understanding that when you get that contract, you are responsible for carrying the team. You have to become a force multiplier, like Tannenbaum says all the time. So what did he lose because of his contract? Potentially Amari Cooper. So that means that his second weapon isn't always as open, so he doesn't have the opportunities and the chances to throw to guys that are open when teams take away your number one target.
Let me, Cindy, put them back up there again. For those of you just joining us, I want to remind everybody that everyone at this table but me the game picks, if you will, Cindy, I'm sorry I wasn't clear about that, but that's what everybody here thinks. Everyone but me thinks the Cowboys are going to lose
based on that
this
defense.
game.
Mine's based on that defense.
On which defense?
On the Dallas defense, not being able to play well and playing on grass.
But Tampa's offense stinks.
Listen,
they've been awful all year, Bart.
Well, but look at what the Commanders were able to do against Dallas, right? Dallas hasn't really lit it up. This defense has come back to earth. And you talk about, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers getting healthy at the right time. Aaron Hicks coming back, means that they can maybe stop the run with a light box. They have more opportunities, and they're playing at home. And all the pressure's on the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Right? They're the one with the mandate. Listen, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are playing with house money. They have a Super Bowl in recent years, and they have a guy that knows how to get hot when it counts the most. And most people don't win playoff games. They lose them.
I hear
the way
what
Dak Prescott is playing, he's playing losing football. Because if he throws a pick six and somebody hits their head on the goalpost because he hit him in the numbers, then that means that the likelihood that they're going to lose are going to go up.
No one can argue with that. I don't know that you're ever playing with house money when your quarterback is 45 and he has 7 Super Bowl rings, but I understand the point you're making.
He's never lost to the Cowboys.
And in his entire career, 7-0 against the Cowboys. Quickly, give me a 30-second explanation of what we're seeing with Dak. Why is he gone? What?
Inaccurate. His throws have been inaccurate. When you look at some of those interceptions, they are behind the receiver. So those flat routes where the defender literally just turns his head and hits him in the face, it's maybe pushing the ball, getting the ball out too quick and not having his footwork right or not having his shoulders right. I'm not a quarterback coach, but I can tell you this. When the DB is basically in trail technique, which means you're right behind the receiver and you turn your head to go defend it, and you stick your hands out and you intercept the football, the ball is behind where it needs to be. So there's some inaccurate throws here, and he's pressing, like you're saying, pressing, trying to make those plays. But the simple out route or the flat route that is a pick six, that's just an inaccurate throw.
As we said at the beginning of the show, there is a lot going on, a lot at stake to the point of pressure here. The coach's job may very well be determined by what happens on Monday night. In the meantime, I want to run through some other games, and you guys tell me why they'll win. I'll say a team, and you say if they win, why will they have won? Grouse, why will the 49ers beat Seattle?
They're better. Look, I mean, I think fundamentally Seattle's defense has been inconsistent this year. Been inconsistent in terms of pass rush, a number of other matters, and I think the 49ers offense has been very consistent in spite of all the upheaval at quarterback. Niners come in having won 10 games in a row. They're red hot. They're just by far the better team, but I do think it's a mismatch of their offense against Seattle's inconsistent defense.
That's fair. Ninko, let's go to the Chargers and Jaguars. If the Chargers win, why will they have won?
Turnover differential. So this is going to come down to turnovers. You look at Jacksonville, they won last week based on a strip sack, scoop and score. So you're playing against a mobile quarterback. Justin Herbert can run. He's very athletic. He's a big guy, and he's smart in the pocket. He's going to know where the blitz is coming. He's going to get the ball out of his hand, protect that turnover differential, win the game.
Bart, a lot of people like the Giants to win at Minnesota. If they do, what will be the difference? Why will they win?
Coaching. I mean, I love me some Kevin O'Connell. He was a teammate of mine. I know he has Mike Pettin on the staff, Ed Donatel, and Wes Phillips. But for me, Dayball has proven that he can make chicken salad out of chicken you-know-what, right? He's a guy that's gotten the best out of Daniel Jones. This game went all the way down to the wire, took a 60-yard field goal. And I think that, you look on the other side, Wink Martindale is in his bag, and that defense is healthy now. Everybody practiced. You heard Dayball say that. And I think they're going to be able to come in. They're going to play pressure-free. When
I said everyone likes them in this game, I wasn't kidding. Cindy, put the picks on the screen. And once again, I had to go Oppo because everyone here likes the Giants, who are a 3-point road underdog. By the way, we talk about what's at stake for the Cowboys. Yeah. What is at stake for the quarterback of the Giants in this game? Has there been a decision in the building made on whether or not Daniel Jones is their quarterback going forward?
I think he's shown them what they needed to see. The question, of course, becomes the numbers, right? What is he looking for in terms of a contract? What are they willing to pay Daniel Jones versus try and find another solution if it costs too much? But I do think that he showed them what they needed to see from him this year. I don't think this game determines anything. It might help his case.
A little more
contract negotiations.
A little bit more cheese on
but I don't think it changes their opinion of him one way or the other.
Well, when you look at how desperate for quarterbacks a lot of teams are going to be during the offseason, I could see Daniel Jones being sort of a popular guy in that. He's had a very good year, and then Saquon speaks for himself. I mean, however much you're willing to spend on a running back, he deserves.
Unfortunately for Saquon, the franchise tag for running backs is pretty affordable.
It's just the reality of it for him.
Daniel Jones looking at his comp right across the other sideline. I think you would put him and Daniel Jones and Kirk Cousins
you mean?
Kind of in the same light. You know what I mean, talk about skill set. I think Daniel Jones is a better athlete. But that's about the marketing. Who's made more money in the recent years than Kirk Cousins? So I think you don't let Daniel Jones get to the market. I think he's comfortable. I think he's happy that they've spent the draft pick on him. He's validated, in my opinion. They can win games with Daniel Jones as their quarterback in the future. You can do a lot worse than Daniel Jones. Yeah.
So once again,
talk about chicken salad.
In the NFC, this table tends to like Tampa on Monday night, and this table likes the Giants on Sunday afternoon. We hope you will like watching hockey tonight. Our ESPN hockey matchup features Austin Matthews and the Leafs taking on the Red Wings. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern from Hockey Town. Meanwhile, coming up here, has Aaron Rodgers taken his last snap at Lambeau Field? Should the Packers make that decision themselves? We'll be answering that question in a moment. And then our big buddy Damian Woody lost his voice this morning, so he's not here. But have no fear. We will still be smashing helmets and picking games. Bartholomew will wield the mallet.